Sports cards, classic video games, and vintage comics are all hot right now. But while you guys are hunting those, don't leave out sports memorabilia. Today, we're gonna be talking about baseball bats, vintage gloves, and other items you'll find out there in the wild while you're hunting down what you know best. Learn here and be a better shopper, buyer, and do your thing. Hey, I'm Brian Hopkins from Burlington, Iowa, and again, welcome to B-Hop's Antique Shop. Today we're going to be focusing on my sports memorabilia collection, primarily bats and gloves. I added a couple other items in there to talk about as well. Reason I got into sports memorabilia in lieu of sports cards, I have a limited amount of what they call the junk era, if you will. I was born in '77, so when I was collecting was the mid-'80s and not really highly sought after. I bought a Rickey Henderson baseball card rookie for $50 way back then, and it was a lot of money and I saved up for it. It just crashed. It went, I don't even know what they sell for now. Rickey Henderson Topps rookie card. That's when it crashed. That's when I started investing my hard-earned dollars into sports memorabilia. And the thing about it is I'm going to be selling off my entire collection, which we're going to be showcasing here. But my point is I think there's a huge upside in it because a lot of the items that I'm going to be showing you today, they were produced when that player was playing. So it'd almost be like a Babe Ruth rookie or a Cy Young rookie. And these baseball items aren't as around as cards survived. A lot more people took care of them, put them in boxes, stuck them in the attic. These items were played with, so supply and demand is a huge factor in the value of this. You can probably buy a Babe Ruth baseball bat. Well, we'll talk. Let's show the items. So another reason I have never sold my baseball bats is when I started auctioneering, let me find it here. Paul Smith said, "Hey Brian, you want to sell some stuff?" And I said, "Absolutely." And he let me sell a hay wagon. So this was the first item I ever sold. I don't know where you want me to be. This is the first item I ever sold. This is a Reach, made by the Reach company, but it's called a Burley, a Reach Burley bat. And it's a decal bat. You can barely see this decal still on there. And that would have been a paper decal. And this bat's very old. We'll showcase it later too. Well, I can just talk about them. These are all decal bats. So if you look closely to them, you can see there's still, this is decal here. This is made by Reach. This is a Hillrich and Bradsby semi-pro, and it still has the original paper decal on it. Now these decal bats would have been late 1800s, and I think they even went into the 50s. Sorry, my head was down. But so those are some great decal bats. I'm gonna sit back down and grab some here. So one a lot of people see, but they're pretty cool, is Cracker Jack. This one's a later version of it, but they made them in the 50s, I believe, and then all the way probably into the later day. Here's a real interesting one. This is a National League All-Star 1942. That would have been a war year, and it's got, Mel Ott on there. It's got all the players, besides those that were serving our country. These would have been all the players for the 1942 All-Star. So we said Mel Ott there. And then over here, I just dumped out these baseball gloves. But hey, let's talk about the baseball gloves. So we'll go there first. I was just going through them a couple minutes ago. I'd like people's comments. Back in the day, an old dealer told me to clean them to use Vaseline, and you rub them down with Vaseline, it cleans them all up, and then you put them in a plastic bag overnight. So this baseball glove, it would have been called a crescent pad, I believe. This may not be a great example of one, but there's some really early gloves called the crescent pads. Here's Mel Ott. So this glove would have been definitely around the 40s, I reckon. But there he is on the baseball bat. And there is his glove of that era. So we have, in here we have Stan Musial. This is a really good one, and hopefully you can see it now, or we'll get better photos of it later. But you can still see the original gray print there. That would have been ink. A lot of times, that's all wore off. And this is made by Rawlings Company. But that's a good glove. We're gonna put that online and sell that. This is pretty wild. I have 2 pie trainers, Harold pie trainer. We have 2 of them we're gonna be offering for sale. Maybe I can get some dates of when these players played, but I'm sure you can comment it below. So this is a Cy Young. Everybody's heard of the Cy Young Award. This is Cy Young baseball glove. It was made when he was playing, and it's made by Hutch Company. It says right there it's Hutch built, and then it's marked Hutch on the brass button there. And then right there, if you'll see Cy Young. This glove, when I looked them up back in the day, they used to sell for $1,200 plus, but that was years ago, and markets go up and down. But like I said, I think there's huge value in sports memorabilia. And actually, I forgot I have a bat inside the house. I'll let Carlos zoom around and show you some of the other items. Let me grab you that bat, because that's the last one I bought, and I just picked it up, and I think it's a huge value. We're gonna offer it to you guys once we get proper identification of all these to make sure that they're not a game-used baseball bat. That's a different level, but let me go grab that other one, and I'll be right back. Hey, so this is the last bat that I've purchased. It's a H&B Hillrich and Bradsby. It's a Louisville Slugger, Babe Ruth model. But this bat is a 40 BR, and it's definitely not a game used bat, and that's something that you really want to look for. When I started back in the 90s, we bought these books. I just found them in a box. Vintage Baseball Guide, Pocket Price Guide. They're from Dave Bushing and Joe Phillips. And Dave Bushing did all the baseball bat guides as well. So this is our Google back in the day, me and my buddies. But I'll tell you a fun story why you don't want to just rush and sell these, especially if they're Louisville Sluggers, Hillrich and Bradsby. This one right here, it could be a game-used Slater bat. But I'll have to ask my friends on my Facebook groups. They're gonna help me out. So, but back in the day, my friend bought a Lou Gehrig baseball bat, and it had the markings that were proper. And we bought these books and got them back, and later found out that it looked pretty good. So he sold it to the author of these books, bought it for $3. He had me help him sell it. That gentleman bought it, and then my understanding is it had some damage. So here it had all the good markings here that it needed to have. It was, the proper, when they put power eyes, et cetera, et cetera. But right here where it said Lou Gehrig, it had a big chunk out of it. And so it really didn't display very well. So this gentleman bought it from us, and we made a good profit on it. And then he sold it to Upper Deck way back in the day, and that's when they were kind of making game-used Hall of Fame cards, things like that. So that was the story that he was gonna do with it. I don't know if they ever came out with a Lou Gehrig Upper Deck card, baseball bat, game-used card, but if so, that'd be kind of cool. We're gonna show you all the different logos that are here. Here's an early Spalding number 5 bat. That's a cool logo there. In the USA air. What's that say? Air dried. Yep. Spalding number 5. Now this is a player endorsed bat here, made by Mr. Campbell, Major League, out of Tennessee there. How do you say that name? Tullahoma? And that's a Buzz. We'll have to look up these players. I don't know all the players. This company is Trio Manufacturing. Have to find out. Here's a Wright and Ditson Victor bat. That's a Major League Special, number 94 Model 2. And we're gonna sell all these and we'll show you how much they sell for here too. Here's a nice Hank Greenberg bat. It's definitely not a game used, but it is a Louisville Slugger, 40S. Nice Mickey Mantle here. That'd be nice if that was game used. This is a game used bat, but I don't know which Ortiz that is. But we're gonna find all that stuff up, and then we're gonna sell all these bats to the top bidders. Okay, while you're looking for bats, and you know, as I get more information about these, I can do a part 2, and we can tell you if we found any game used bats, you know, what they were, etc., etc. While we're doing that, let's talk about sports memorabilia. I did pick up these uniforms. They're from the 20s and 30s. Well, they're from the 20s, but they're made by Winchester Company, or they're marked Winchester. And Winchester made a lot of things besides just guns. Everybody knows them for making guns, but they made flashlights. They made baseball bats, baseball gloves, all kinds of sporting goods items. So I did see one jersey, just the top, and it sold for $1,500. So we got this set right here, the top, the hat. You know, I believe this player was H. Milton, and looks like they had a championship year and played in the late 20s, early 30s. And then we have his socks as well. So that's on eBay now. The rest of the stuff, we're gonna research it. This is kind of the part of processing stuff, you know? I mean, I haven't looked at this stuff for a long time, so I have to be an expert on it again. If you ever see red and black baseball seams, they used to use this in the professional league. And this is probably, yep, that's a Spalding National League Professional Baseball. But you can date this probably to the 20s or early 30s. You know, this was a game used ball. I mean, how cool is that, right? Who could have hit off of that? But this stuff sells. These boxes are just boxed Wilson balls, new old stock. We picked up this batch from an estate, and they just had a bunch of old unused balls, but we're gonna identify those and get those up for sale. A lot of times you'll see these are called cabinet photos. I think they used to sit on the mantle mostly, or the cabinet, I guess. But we're gonna find out who these guys are and open it up. Hopefully, well, it doesn't, but sometimes they have writing on the back of where they're from. But these all are of value. People love old sports memorabilia. So these are kind of what baseball cards started. I'll just leave them there. This one has 2 players on it. Those are from 1888, I believe, and they're called scraps. But they would have been the first form of baseball cards. And they came in tobacco, obviously. But if you look up 1888 scraps, my buddy sold me these probably about 15 years ago. I've only seen one other on a comp, and it was a different year. I think it was a 1933, but it was a Tigers, and we believe these came out of Detroit when the Tigers went to the World Series. I was told they were in the broadcasting booth, but I can't verify that. I have, like I said, seen one other. We're gonna offer those for sale though, as a pair. and I think they're pretty rare and should do pretty good. Hey, welcome to our temporary headquarters right here. I did want to bring up on the Babe Ruth bat, I did find my index card on it. Logos and decals match a bat from 1921 to 1933. So that's pretty cool, you know, during his playing days. We're gonna offer that Babe Ruth bat up at $1 with no reserve, and it's gonna find a really new happy home. So that's, again, my point of real value in buying an item that was of the player's era. All right, so it's hot, it's humid in Iowa, right? We just got done unloading all the baseball bats. Me and Hamburglar, he was our #1 employee, so we're gonna get that crunch time. We're gonna properly identify, and then offer these for sale. And we're gonna get some help from our friends on some local collector groups. And then with their permission, we'll give them a proper thank you. But yeah, it's the fun part, right? A lot of work, but you want to make sure you know what you're selling. That way you can guarantee it, and we're gonna get all these for sale, and we'll see what happens after that. Wish us luck. Hey, thanks for being my friend. That's how I need to end it.